9:08, 8 past 9.
John Kass and Jake Hartford in for Bruce and Dan. 9 to 11, 89 WLS.
Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to take off. Fasten your seats. We're about to take off.
Or not take off.
American Airlines, which is a huge, major carrier in this country, as you know, is undergoing bankruptcy. Last year, they voided all their union contracts. And recently, in the past couple weeks, they've had quite a few of their pilots call in sick. And because of that, there have been a number of flights that had to be canceled. And now, within the past few days, nobody knows how this is happening or why this is happening, and management says it has nothing to do with any kind of labor issues. But rows of seats are coming undone during flights, forcing the planes to either divert or go back to their original city. Saturday, there was a plane was going from, I think, Boston to Miami, had to divert in New York. Today, there was one New York going somewhere, or yesterday, New York somewhere. They had to go back. And then this morning, a flight
Miami.
from Chicago to London landed in Ireland, not because of loose seats, although they did have loose seats, but there was smoke in the cockpit, and that turned out to be a fan that wasn't working.
Some guy smoking a cigar in the back. Didn't have the exhaust fan working.
You're not supposed to smoke on
Yes,
planes,
I know
John.
that. I know that.
At least if you are, you have to have the window open. And we're going to be joined by somebody from ABC with the latest. But
By the way, if you open the window in a plane, it's like gold. You ever see Goldfinger? We're in the 50th anniversary of James Bond. You get sucked right out. Just so you know.
okay,
All right?
for those of you just heading to the airport to board a flight,
Yeah, just relax. Have another Bloody Mary on me and Jake and John, okay?
yeah. But
Right.
so they're saying it has nothing to do with the labor issues. But how does this happen? 3 flights, 3 sets of seats. You know, it's a row of seats. It was one of them was like 12D, E, and F. The people were in their seats, and all of a sudden they came loose. And the one sound I heard this morning, I don't know, do we have it? Listen to this. This is from ABC this morning.
The seats flipped backwards, and so people were essentially on the laps of the passengers behind them with their legs up in the air.
I don't know if you have to pay extra for that.
That is, isn't that a great word image? Like in your mind. You're on your way to the airport right now. Whose legs are going to be up for me? That's what you want to think.
Well, I've seen some people on some planes where I wouldn't mind seeing those legs up in the air like that.
I don't know. You said, but me, my legs are 18 inches long. They fit into a shopping bag, and I don't think I'm just a short-legged person, so I don't think it would be too attractive.
Now, in all 3 instances, the people on the planes, the flight attendants, were able to accommodate the people that were in those seats.
Like, what do you do? Like, run up there and pull them? Like, you grab them by the forehead and pull
Get
them
off
forward?
my plane.
No, they were able to. They were able to give them other seats because there were empty seats on the plane.
Oh, I see.
But I don't know what would they have done if the plane was full. And there are planes that are really flying full lately.
Yeah, is there some sort of, anybody know out there, is there sort of an like, do they have to duck and cover in the middle aisle or what? What do you do?
Yeah, it's not
What do
like
you do?
it's not like the subway where they have a strap where you can just hang on and stand. You know.
Please get your legs down, sir.
Yeah.
Keep your legs down.
Yeah, if the seat became, the row of seats became unbolted from the floor, unless you can bolt it back and have it secure, you've got to sit somewhere. And if you're out of seats because the plane is full, you're out of luck.
Now, I don't want to totally diss American Airlines here because a few years ago, I remember writing about a woman named Christia Pritchard, and she lost her wedding ring on an American airline flight. You know where she lost it?
Where?
In the toilet. And I don't want to know why. But anyway, she did. And she couldn't find it. And American Airlines employees went through, sort of like CSI, but the part you wouldn't show on TV, and went through and found the evidence and presented it to her.
Did she have to prove it was hers? There
I
wasn't
think
somebody
it
else's
fit.
wedding ring that went through? Ralph in Mokeen. Good morning, Ralph. You're on 89 WLS.
Hey, good morning. The reason for American Airlines problems is clearly they had no idea that when George Bush left office, he took all the tools and, then they're all messed up. And hey, John, by the way, the whole ring thing that you're talking about,
Yeah.
the dirty little secret about airline toilets is, I think those of us who have ever been on an airplane and used the toilet know that there appears to be this powerful vacuum sort of feature to them. Well, in order to save fluid, John, all of that stuff down there gets powerfully pulled through, for lack of a better, description, a sieve. And so kind of to look for the lady's ring, they just kind of have to look in the filter part of the toilet. Not pretty, but a little bit easier than being like Jacques Cousteau in the tank.
Okay, Mr. You who are so wise in the ways of science, I agree with your point that it's Bush's fault, because we all know George Bush did this.
Of course.
But how do you get your wedding ring sucked off your hand by a vacuum?
That's
okay,
the story.
Mr. Science?
That's the story. I don't know.
Okay.
Thanks, Ralph.
Ralph.
Maybe she dropped something else in the toilet, and she was reaching in to get that, and she accidentally flushed, and it took the ring off.
Listen, too much information. Can we take Tom in Barrington? Tom, line 2.
Hey, Tom, you're on 89 WLS.
How you guys doing? I'm telling you, the airline problem, duct tape fixes everything. You just duct tape the people down to something, a bulkhead or something. But duct tape fixes everything.
It's the Obama tape.
Well,
If it's Bush's fault.
Here.
Okay.
I mean, we're blaming George Bush this morning, remember? Because
Yeah.
they took the tools.
But Obama, we could all get free Obama tape.
And don't forget, Tom,
Because I want some Obama tape.
George Bush lives in Texas, and American Airlines, their headquarters is in Texas.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow, you guys, you can turn everything into a political thing. That's why we love you so much.
Well, that was Ralph. That was Ralph in Mokina, because that's what they do in Mokina. Thank you, Tom.
Hey, have a good one, you guys.
I think duct tape would fix it. You could duct tape the people to, like if Jake and John if we were in your lap, that would be a good idea, right?
And you duct tape the people's mouths shut so that you won't hear their screaming when they're landing. 9:15, time for traffic right here on 89 WLS. 9:16, John Kass, Jake Hartford, back right here in 89 WLS. Joining us right now, we're talking about the latest American Airlines plane that was diverted to Ireland. Joining us from London is ABC's Tom Rivers. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, initially, people were putting together 2 and 2 and getting up number 4, saying that maybe this is something to do with the seats that have nothing at all to do with the seats. It was a little bit of smoke that was smelled, not seen, but smelled in the cockpit, and it left Chicago, almost across the Atlantic, got as far as Shannon. It was going to Heathrow, Terminal 3, and they decided to touch down safely, which they did. And maintenance got on board and isolated pretty quickly to an air circulation fan. So that plane right now could very well be in the air. They said they're trying to get it together in about 45 minutes and resume its flight to Heathrow.
That's all well and good, but that doesn't help us with our narrative that the seats are coming loose.
Yeah,
what's with the seats, Tom?
It's a bit disconcerting, I would imagine, if you're in a row 42 and the whole thing is kind of loose. But, strange one, that's for sure.
Did anybody talk to any of the passengers from Chicago that were on that plane, or did they just kind of keep them segregated?
It was pretty quick. I would guess they were probably on the ground for no more than 2 hours. And the people at Shannon were really not even too hip, the PR people there, on what was going on. But the Heathrow office was pretty sharp for American Airlines in describing the situation, and they basically said, look, it's a smell of smoke problem, and these things are taken care of, and there you go. It looks like the plane will be back there in London in the next maybe an hour or so.
I mean, did they seem to indicate, was it the smell that was like throughout the airplane, or just maybe a few people smelled the burning?
I think it's just that was just in the cockpit, and I was told, they basically go through everything, and if they get to a point where they will isolate maybe a component and then replace that, and if that solves the problem, there you go. If it doesn't solve the problem, then in certain situations they have to wait for a replacement plane to show up. Takes longer, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and it'd be harder in Europe because American flies, from here, from the States, but they don't, fly between different cities in Europe, so they don't have a lot of extra planes just sitting around.
Exactly. So, yeah, there'd be a little bit of hanging about. But Shannon Airport isn't the worst airport to hang out in, let's put it that way.
All right, thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Why don't we go to
Tom Rivers from ABC.
Can we get a call?
Stan in Midway. Hey, Stan. Stan?
Stash, pick up the phone.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Your dime, your dance floor.
Those seats are not easy to move around. I mean, they are locked in position, and someone has to physically either undo the locks to allow them to move around. That's how they adjust the seat pitch. And there's the floor rail is a scalloped rail, and each leg on that seat has a scallop fitting that fits in there into the round scallop part, and then you push the seat back into the narrow part of the rail. And that's how you adjust the seat pitch, and then you lock it in position. There's two types of fittings that I have seen.
Are you an aircraft mechanic?
Yes, I am.
Do you need a equipment for this, or can you do it by hand? Just by
some
pressing?
parts. Well, some seats I've seen, older seats have a pin that you push in with your thumb, and then you're able to pull the collar up on the seat, and that allows the seat to either come out of the fitting or you can adjust the seat pitch. Other seats have bolts that lock it in place, and you need a wrench for that.
What would be the procedure if you know? If, say, the seats break in flight and there's no other seats, you can't put people anywhere. Where do you put them?
You have to what they call defer that seat row and put the passenger somewhere else.
But I mean, what if it's a crowded flight in full flight? What do you do?
Those people either get another flight.
Yeah, but
they come in.
Yeah, but
I'm
if you're
over
up,
the
if you're up on the air, you're up in the air.
Well, you're up in the air again.
Yeah.
If there's other rows that are empty, you put those people somewhere, or the airline runs the risk of when they land and apply the brakes or the thrust reversers, that seat moves forward, and those people can actually move forward with the seat.
Not a good thought. Thank you, Stan.
Sure.
Especially if you got a couple hefty guys.
So it doesn't sound like the seat. Somebody could have done something to empty the, unlock the seats, and it sounds intricate. So you wonder if somebody loosened it before. But you would think if they were loose, when the flight attendants or the cabin crew went through, they would.
I don't know. Do you check when you sit at your? We just sat down here in the studio. Did you check your seat?
Yeah, every time, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you do.
Yes, I do. It's
check your seat.
9:21 on 89 WLS.
89 WLS. The road to the Oval Office starts here. Your common sense election headquarters. 89 WLS.
9:28. John Kass, Jake Hartford, in for Bruce and Dan. We're talking about American Airlines. A couple flights recently, the seats are coming loose. And is it just a fluke, or it has something to do with some of their labor problems? Tom and O'Hare. Hey, Tom, you're on 89 WLS.
Yeah, Jake, Mr. Kass,
hey.
Mr. Stewart there, great show. Yes, this is an updated bulletin from O'Hare, Mr. Jake. The seats were left loose when a subcontractor was finishing up a retrofit on that particular airplane, and sure, it should have been checked by American crews, no doubt, but there's nothing nefarious or nothing conspiratorial about it. A retrofit crew made a mistake. Probably one guy's going one way, the other guy's going the other way, like the railroad. They got to the middle and said, forget that. That's not my job. That's just speculation.
How many planes did this supposed subcontractor work on?
I'm going to say I don't know that, because all I know is the scuttlebutt out here on the dock is that all the screws were out. So as far as the mechanic for Midway, he had a good story about if you were to take them off in mid-flight or nefariously. But you can call the lady out there at AA, and she'd be glad to talk to you. It's on a couple of the website for travelers, not American, but some of these serious website traveler stories, the stories on some of the serious websites. And there was nothing nefarious, guys. You can knock that one off.
But you know what? You want to say something, John?
No, I just said we're not saying it's nefarious. Just coincidence, kind of. We're trained observers, my friend. Coincidence is kind of.
But here's the problem, Tom. Here's my concern. If this was a subcontractor that was kind of loose with what they were supposed to do, excuse the pun on the seats, if they did it for seats, what if they did it for something in the engine?
Of course, a lot of that stuff's tethered. When they go in to work on the engines, they have a lot of the tools tethered to them, so they can't leave them down anymore.
Right.
But, of course, there's been bolts and nuts and other byproducts that have got blown through the intakes. But Hey, I know you guys are supposed to be watching things, but aren't we supposed to be talking about the combine and how the crooked cops and the crooked judges let Blagojevich and Ryan?
Tom, I'm worried about engines falling off in mid-flight.
And I'm worried about my legs up in the air because they're short and bow-legged, and then the last thing people need to see is a short, bow-legged, hairy Greek leg sticking up in the air.
9:30, time for news, weather, traffic right here on 89 WLS. 9:36, the 89 WLS box office opens every Thursday, giving you a chance to win tickets to an upcoming show or event. This Thursday, listen all day for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the advanced screening of Argo, starring Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, and John Goodman. For more info, go to WSAM.com. Jake Hartford.
John Kass, and here for Bruce and Dan. We've got some calls.
Yeah, we're talking about the American Airlines with the loose seats.
The loose seats and the fear of falling in someone's lap behind you.
Steve in Lincoln Park. Hey, Steve, you're on 89 WLS.
Hey, Jake and John. Good to talk to you guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, of course, John, there's the initial fear of, or the weight of everybody falling back on somebody else.
Well, I don't want to crush anybody.
You would definitely be in the position to do that on someone. But as far as worrying about once there's no seats available for them to sit in, I mean, come on, we don't land the plane that bad that you're going to be tumbling down the aisles and.
Are you a pilot? Are you a pilot, Steve?
Yes, I am.
A commercial aviator?
That's correct.
All right, I put my life in your hands all the time, and I trust you guys. But here's the question: if the seats are broken, if Jake and John don't have seats, and all the other seats are taken, what are we supposed to do? Like sit cross-legged in the aisle, or what?
Well, you could, or
what's the policy?
Back in the, there's the regulation way. Back when I was in the Air Force, we would do touch and goes, and guys would be standing back there. It's not like unless you have some sort of emergency landing where you have to stop really fast. I mean, most of the landings are nice and smooth. You could stand up the whole time and just lean against the wall in the near the galley.
That's it. That's what we'll do.
Hey, Steve,
because if we start rolling down the aisle the wrong way. You ever see like a couple 100-pound bowling pins running down there? That's what we have, bowling balls.
I've heard stories of when the planes are empty at takeoff, they ride the food trays down the aisle when the plane starts shooting up in the air. So, those are just stories I've heard. But
Steve, I want to find out what type of pilot are you when you're taking off. It's your position now to take off. Are you one of those pilots that's stopped at the end of the runway and they say go and you just go straight ahead like a drag car? Or are you one of those that I prefer that kind of does the rolling turns and goes?
My style is to make it as smooth as possible. That's my style.
What kind of car do you drive?
A station wagon.
Okay, good. That's good.
So, no, the idea is to make the passengers as smooth as comfortable. I don't want to give them turbulence. I don't want to give them a bad landing. I want them to enjoy the flight. And, I get to look out the window the whole time, so it's a nice deal.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks,
All right,
Steve.
guys, have a good day.
All right, man.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
And
have you ever seen a grown man naked?
The guy who really likes gladiator movies, his name will be coming up in a corruption trial later this week.
Jerry in Woodridge. Good morning, Jerry.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Jerry, what's up?
Hey, I just wanted to, I was listening this morning here to the discussion about the loose seats, and it just so happened that I was on a flight Friday evening returning from Dallas to Chicago. I think it was around 7:45 or so was the flight time, but the flight was delayed for a couple hours due to the fact that some of the seats in the back of the plane were loose, and so they needed to get a mechanic to come in and fix them. So it was kind of a hold-up. We were waiting to get on the flight. We waited about an hour, and then they boarded all the the priority passengers, and then they stopped boarding. And then then a mechanic came on and was working on the seats apparently to fix them. So it was another hour or so, and then we took off. But there was a mechanic on there. You could hear him working in the back. The seats were way in the back. Kind of near the flight attendant station toward the back of the plane. And I got up at one point to use the washroom before the mechanic came on, and they were kind of blocked off with a kind of do not sit on these seats sign. So I just thought it was interesting that then the next day we hear that there's more seats that are were loose.
So you're breaking news because we only heard about 2. Now you're reporting another one.
Yeah, this was Friday night. I know 7. I want to say it was like the 7 or 7:45 flight out of Dallas to Chicago.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Fair enough. Okay.
I had trouble on my last flight, not like with the seats, but
Somebody talking next to you?
No, the shrimp salad.
All right.
It had too many shrimp. It had too many shrimp, and then which kind of took away from the entree.
As long all I want to know is there whiskey and peanuts? That's it. Okay? Because when I'm on a flight, I get a little nervous, I have to admit, but what really makes me nervous is to have someone next to me that wants to start a conversation. You know those people that you can kind of tell they look at you, they're trying to engage in conversation that bothers me. I don't want to talk to
Do they know who you are?
Nobody knows who I am. I'm in the newspaper business.
Although we were on an elevator the other day in the garage, and people said, "Oh, John, I love your column." Remember that one guy?
The guy said, "Oh, I recognize your voice."
But then he
from
loves
the
your column.
Big WLS 89.
Yeah.
591-8900. Your calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's the what do you call that? The beauty of it. Karen in Orland Park. Hey, Karen.
Hey, I had you on a Vegas flight one time.
Me or Karen?
Ixnay Karen.
Jake, yes, his sons play hockey. He lives out near me too.
Karen,
Do you remember
dish
me?
it. Let's hear it.
Yes, I do. It was a flight to Vegas, and that's what stays on the way to Vegas stays on the way to Vegas.
We want
Karen.
to press the button, Karen. I've already instructed the experts here to press the button so Jake is cut off. Let me hear. How was he?
It was great.
He was a wild man, right?
He was a wild man. I will tell you.
Dancing in the aisle.
Are you still flying, Karen?
Yeah, I am. Except I have a cold right now, so I'm grounded. But we used to have olive on our 727s way in the day. Back in the day, we used to have green olives, which they took off our plane, so we can't have these anymore. But as soon as the flight would land, we would put the olives on the floor and like see which would make it all the way to the cockpit door. Like we would have races with our green olives.
You know how to have fun, Karen.
We
you guys are so wild.
Well.
All right, thanks, Karen.
Fly us again. I miss you.
Well, you have too many shrimp.
Karen, you got to call the Tribune, and please, I want to have all the details of what Jake actually did on that flight, okay? Okay, so we can talk about it.
Are you still flying the Vegas route?
No, actually, I'm flying Europe now.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, she protected you.
Maybe she can send me an email, tell me what your flight she's on.
See about the olive races.
Just to catch up on old times.
Yeah.
9:44, back after this on 89 WLS.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
89 WLS. We're holding the candidates accountable so you can make an informed decision. From your common sense election headquarters, 89 WLS.
9:51, Jake Hartford, John Kass in for Bruce and Dan. You have your seat buckled there, John?
I've got my seat buckled because I don't want to fall in someone's lap and destroy their day.
A subcontractor didn't tighten all the nuts and bolts.
He probably went out and got a Polish and some ice. Probably forgot.
Yeah. Tom in Downers Grove. Good morning, Tom.
Hi, guys. I'm leaving for London this evening on American Airlines, and I just want to thank you. Makes me feel real good about this trip.
You're going to London tonight. What time's your flight leave?
9:45, supposedly.
So you'll be on Flight 98.
Is that what I'm going to be on?
Yeah, that's 777 service.
Tom,
Nice plane.
I like those.
Tom, is this business?
Suggestions for me, like wear a bicycle helmet. No, wait, not bicycle. A motorcycle helmet.
Did you ever hear of 2 words for you? Okay, Johnny Walker. Do you know that name?
Oh, sure.
Okay, and soda.
I like
all right?
Jack Daniels. But
okay.
Are you in first class, business, or coach, Tom?
I'm in coach, unfortunately.
Well, coaches, there's a good number of seats still available. So if your seats come loose, you can move easily to another row.
Well, I thought I might bring a wrench, but I know TSA would take it away from me. So
why don't you bring some olives, Tom? This would be amusing. Like Karen said, our friendly flight attendant who has all the inside information on Jake's flights to Vegas that she won't spill because she's doing him a favor. But why don't you roll some olives bring a bunch of olives, I'd say, and have a few drinks and have some fun. Make it a party.
Yeah, I won't give a damn if I'm in somebody else's lap then, I guess.
You know what? Being on the 777 on American tonight, Tom, they have the in-seat entertainment. So you're going to have the video right at your seat. And if you're a movie guy playing, there's a choice of movies, including The Three Stooges, The Raven.
How about Goldfinger? You know that Bond movie where the window exploded on the plane and the guy gets sucked out and he screams and the last thing you see is Goldfinger's face going out the window? That would be good.
Gladiator.
You like Gladiator movies, Tom?
Yeah.
That's a good movie, though.
Have a safe flight, Tom.
Thanks.
Don't forget, drink up.
You want to have a flight next to Tom. You and him could just sterling conversation all the way across the Atlantic.
You don't talk to people on the plane, Jake. I'm trying to tell you. We're not like Jake the party man going to Vegas,
9:54 back after this.
89 WLS. The latest news from the nation and across the globe is just minutes away with ABC News, 89 WLS and WLSAM.com.
9:58.
John Kass, Jake Hartford in for Bruce and Dan with our theme song because we're cool. I just love hearing it.
Really? That's so old school.
That is, and we are old school. Olives, scotch, and soda on the plane. That's us.
Maybe your plane.
Someday Karen will call. Karen, the flight attendant, will call me, and I will hear all the details of that flight, so we can blackmail you on the
Karen
air.
is a very professional American Airlines flight attendant, and they do not talk. Okay.
Okay, like a priest or a lawyer. Yeah.
They really have a hard job.
They do.
They really do with some of the
drunken fools.
On the plane. Anyway,
guys drinking scotch.
This hour gone. One more hour to go right here on 89 WLS.